Hello, everybody. I'm live with Mr. Habanero here, and hopefully he's good too.
That's messy. That's messy.
Well, you're not supposed to be listening to me.
Oh, look at me. I'm a professional. I'm a professional. Look how professional I am. Don't question me. How dare you? How dare you try to question me?
Now,
I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Don't know what anyone is talking about. How anyone's doing stuff. Major echo. Well, Maz, mute one of us.
Yeah.
You won't have that.
No, it was a problem on my end. Oh. I don't know what you're talking about. Shut up.
Lee Gas, we can only see Cindy and Habs. Yeah, well, of course, it's only the two of us.
Hold on. Oh, God. Oh, why is everything such a mess? Okay, there we go. I fixed it.
What? Okay, there we go. Okay, I see.
Everything's fine. Can you tell that we haven't done this in forever?
How did you flip me? Because I am completely flipped on mine. Why? I keep pausing on your... We keep pausing on yours. So quit clicking off whatever you're doing. I don't know what you're doing.
It's fine. I fixed it.
Okay.
I fixed it.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well tonight. Me and Habanero are going to sit here, rant and rave all night about how Wizards of the Coast has decided to throw everything in one basket and throw it out to the world and watch the entire company burn to the death and sink the Titanic at the same time.
I'm going to get up for a minute. Totally professional.
Okay, well, while he's gone, I have Kraystar, I have Patrick, I have Dark Titan, Cthulhu.
Don't worry about it. Don't question me or what I'm doing or how professional I am at any given time. I can't hear anything and I can't see anybody.
Is Habs too loud? Is he too
loud? All right,
loud?
hi. Everything's fine.
If he's too loud, let me know. Who else do I have? I have Thoth, Crash Test, Bo, welcome. I see Xerox over on Habaneros. I see you over there, Mass, as well. And Cthulhu, you're over there again. And so is Patrick. I see all of it. I see it all. That is
How dare you, Xerox? How dare you question me?
You're already late. You know what? Deal with it.
You don't know me.
Just like how the rest of you are going to deal with things that are just not working out. Oh my God. MTG is literally on fire.
Yeah,
it's all burning to the ground.
Yeah, it's a big goddamn mess. And boy, oh boy, do we got a whole slew of interesting things to talk about tonight, don't we?
Yeah, oh yeah, just a little. Just a little. Our levels are good, guys. We sound okay. Yes, Crash Test has made his way to Snow, Mexico. Yes, he has. America's Hat is his home away from home. Yeah, plain and simple. As you guys can see, it's a little bit different because we've had to set up cameras a little bit differently for us to be able to do this in our recording softwares.
We were struggling, as you can tell, before the stream started and even after the stream started, we've been struggling.
Yes. Q and Evangeline's most fitting song, yeah. Currently waiting an A&W to be delivered. Oh, A&W. A&W is so good.
Speaking of beer that doesn't involve roots, I'm going to crack open my beer because I got to get nice and drunk if we're going to talk about this goddamn mess of a game.
Here's the plan. I'm getting Habanero to talk about Magic the Gathering, which he has sworn off for the last how many years now?
How dare you? Don't you do that to me. Don't you do that to me.
So is Wizards printing expensive fake real cards? Yep, they definitely are. Everything you see below me in the stream here, they're printing all of it.
Yeah, Power 9, well, Power 9, however, you are probably not, if you go and you buy this bullshit, you're probably not going to get Power 9.
No, you got to spend $1,000 to open up 60 cards, 8 of which will be basic lands.
Do they actually guarantee the basic lands?
There's 2 basic lands per pack. 2 per pack, not 1. It used to be, well, back in alpha and beta days, it was like every 4th card was a basic land because they didn't have any seeding like they do now.
Yeah.
But yeah, 8 basic lands you're going to get. You have a chance at an alternate frame Black Lotus, have fun with that, because they're still track printing it all, because they're using the original printing of the rarity, except the dual basics or the dual lands are double what they used to be.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, is that, like, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, like, I'm going to go and buy this and get a Black Lotus. And it's like, nah.
No.
That's not how this works.
No, you're going to buy this. You're going to buy this.
You pay $1,000 to gamble in hopes that maybe you'll get a Black Lotus. That's what this is.
You want a more guaranteed route? Drop $1,000 in a slot machine. You will hit the jackpot at some point.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
This, you're dropping $1,000 in hopes at 4 spins. You only get 4 spins. You drop $1,000 in a slot machine, you're there for a few hours. At least you have hours of entertainment. This, you have 4 packs you're opening. How long does a pack take to open? 15 seconds.
So ridiculous. I love it. I love the sheer audacity, the absolute goddamn cojones that
no,
freaking...
Cthulhu, you're not guaranteed a Lotus. It's 4 randomized packs for $1,000.
That's what I think is part of, like, the mistranslation and misunderstanding of some people for this situation. It's not like you're purchasing specific proxies.
No.
You are not purchasing a specific collection of proxies. What you are doing is you are paying $1,000 to gain 4 booster packs where you will have a randomized possible chance to maybe get Power 9. You're gambling $1,000 for Power 9. And trust me, listen.
Crash Test has a gold pen. I can paint the border of this, and suddenly I have a collector's edition.
The thing is, too, is that it's just that, like, you would literally be better off just buying, like, proxies from China.
You're better off going onto eBay and spending $1,000 on 2 basic and dual lands that you can buy right now in mint condition than buying 4 of these.
How much do dual lands cost right now?
$400.
Like, $400 for, like, is that, like, revised or unlimited or something like that? Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, just go out and buy
money
Chinese
left over
proxies.
for a case of beer at the end.
Yeah. But I mean, Maz hopes they explode in their faces. It's a little more complicated than exploding in their faces.
It already has, Matt. They lost like $500 million in their stock over this.
Oh, yeah, they did. Have you guys seen Hasbro stocks? Holy shit. Holy shit. Those things plummeted like a goddamn, like a freaking anchor off a boat. Holy shit. If you guys want to see some crazy stuff, go and look up Hasbro stocks on Google right now. Like, when the announcement came out today for this insane product they're doing, just way down.
Yeah, Scorpio guys, it's
so
$50 for an entire, like, deck of proxies of cards that people want. It includes, like, a Sliver Queen. It includes Black Lotus, all the Moxes. It includes all the dual lands.
Yeah.
$33 to $50.
Yeah, I bought my proxies. Like, I bought a pack of proxies. Like, this was years ago. $50 for 50 cards, and that includes Power 9. But the thing is, though, is that, like, this is such an interesting mess because, like, and if you guys can't tell by my thumbnail, I think that this is a signal that Wizards of the Coast is trying to get the hell out. I think I have a theory that they realize that their entire company is falling apart and they're trying to get the hell out as fast as possible. I legitimately think that.
I have a different theory, a completely wild, alien-like theory on what's going on here.
Bro, you hunting Sasquatches over there?
Yeah, we're
your
hunting
goddamn magic cards.
We're in Canada, right? I gotta just go grab my hockey stick and go into the woods right now, and I can hunt down a Sasquatch.
Interesting.
No. What I think is going on, there has been speculation for a long time. Hasbro's been shopping the market for a sale.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that sale does not include Wizards of the Coast in the fact of them spinning them off by themselves. It's a sale of Hasbro in general. I believe they are getting primed and ready to be purchased by Disney.
You think they're tanking their stocks on purpose?
Yes.
To be bought by Disney at a cheaper price?
Yes. Activision Blizzard did the same thing for Microsoft to buy them.
You're right, bro. That is an aliens exist, we live in the Matrix theory. That's some pretty, that is quite the conspiracy theory. That would literally imply that they are purposely self-sabotaging. Like, that would mean that somebody on the inside would be self-sabotaging to make themselves cheaper to be bought out by Disney.
In the last year, Hasbro has lost their contracts to Disney. Mattel has picked them up. Disney announcing Lorcana as a new game, new TCG coming out that will rival Magic the Gathering as Mickey the Gathering. And the mechanics are almost identical from what I've seen to Magic the Gathering, with a few things thrown in from Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and the Lux.
Yeah, Maz, that's what I was thinking at first too. She says that's technically insider trading.
Yep.
I don't think that's insider trading
because Disney and Hasbro have been friendly for years.
It's not insider trading, it's corporate espionage.
Yeah.
If that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like if your theory is correct, that's not insider trading, that's corporate espionage. Because that would mean that somebody would have had to come in from the inside and then strike with apparently some level of power, some influential power. I don't know. It can't be a stockholder situation. There's no way. It would have to be.
We know one 7-figure stockholder that is online and does a bunch of YouTubing.
Don't throw him into this. That's not what this is.
Well, the other
I know
side
who you're
of the coin,
talking about.
The other side of the coin, his videos for the last month has been everything's going to zero.
Well, but that could just simply be we all know that he gets his information from the inside. So if your theory is correct, it wouldn't be him specifically. It would be that this was planned out as corporate espionage and he's aware of it happening. So he's got it all figured out. But I mean, dude, it's so out there. Like, I mean,
hey, I'm just spitballing. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I spitball. You know this.
Yeah, I mean, so my theory, like, and I already kind of told you my theory off camera, which is my theory is that so most really invested Magic players know the concept of future, which is they refer to it as like future league and stuff like that. When it comes to Magic the Gathering, future is basically that they plan all of their sets and information 3 to 5 years ahead of time.
Yes.
So the idea is that what we are seeing roll out now was originally planned and designed 3 to 5 years ago, right?
100%.
So, like, even though we're seeing stuff roll out now, it was actually originally designed and planned about 3 to 5 years ago. My theory is that based on the future information that they have that, you know, we as a consumer base don't have access to that information normally, unless you're part of the Magic cabal. Yeah. It's that they have the information planned out for 3 to 5 years ahead of time. And my theory is that based on what we've been dealing with because they've had multiple sets come out recently that have flopped.
Oh, they've completely flopped.
Yeah,
because they missed the mark. New Capenna was one of the worst sets out there next to Strixhaven.
Well, and then there's the whole the Baldur's Gate was a flop.
Yeah. Although I think
I
like the Baldur's Gate set. I think it will come back hugely.
But it was a flop.
But it was a flop.
And also the new Dominaria set is also a flop.
Oh yeah, it's
so
hugely a flop because of the Lost Legends was not enough of a selling point because most of the Lost Legends were commons that are 25 to 50 cent nothings. It didn't add any value to it, and yet they opened up millions of dollars of product to throw it in there to do nothing.
Right. So my personal theory is that they're looking at the information that they have based on future and comparing that to the past sets that have flopped. And I think that my theory is that they're noticing patterns and comparisons between the sets that have flopped and the sets that are part of future that we don't know about currently. Yep. And my theory is that they're looking at the future sets and they're like, okay, we think, and they can't change them. They
can. They have done it in the past where they've changed sets in the past. You got to remember, Theros Beyond Death was supposed to be 2 sets. They made it 1 and shoehorned in Throne of Eldraine. That's why Throne of Eldraine was partially so overpowered, because they just threw it together at the last minute without proper playtesting. That's why we had the Summer of Oko. That's why we had the Elks. That's why we had 3/3 Elks everywhere, because that was a shoehorn set that was thrown in there as a last minute.
Yeah.
So they can change it. And I believe part of this is a last minute change from somewhere in Hasbro, namely probably Chris Cox, because he was the Wizards of the Coast CEO and moved into the position in Hasbro and said, throw it all out there. Do it. Do it all. Just throw it all. Give me my parachute, because I'm going to be out of here in like 2 more years. This is part of the 5-year plan that he came in with the fire design. Right? On top of all of this, I just want to go back to the point with Disney, because there's another person out there, another YouTuber that's out there that's been talking about how Wizards of the Coast is getting ready to sail, and they have the other side of the coin with Disney. They see the inside stuff from Disney.
Yeah.
So, putting everything together. Anyway.
Yeah, you think it's espionage is your theory. My like, what I was trying to get to is that my theory is that they're comparing the flops to the future designs.
Yeah.
And they're realizing that based on the past information and the future information, that my theory is that they see that multiple of their sets are going to flop in the future.
Oh, yeah.
And they are basically deciding to do this whole maneuver to grab as much money as possible, legality be damned, and then book the hell out before the whole boat sinks. Well, that's like, because I think they're predicting that they're basically on a boat that is fine. And they're predicting, based on future information from the future setup, that they're going to hit an iceberg in the next 3 to 5 years. And they want to get as much... Well, no, I don't think that they've hit the iceberg yet. I think what they're predicting, based on... Because, I mean, they know what they're going to put out in the next 3 to 5 years. They already know that. But I think that what they're doing is they're comparing the information from the past to the stuff that they're going to put out in the future, and they realize it's going to be bad. And they're going to be in a lot of trouble, and it's going to be a huge loss. And so they set this up so that they can extract as much money as possible. Like I said, legality be damned, reserve list be damned, the whole art royalties be damned, all legality be damned. They want to get as much money as they possibly can before they hit that iceberg in the next 3 to 5 years. Because by the time that they finally hit that iceberg, they're not going to care about the legality and the all of the mess in court, and because they'll have all their money and they'll have dissolved the company by that. I think they're trying to just get as much money and book it. Like, that's what I think this is. Like, legitimately.
Superfast
the espionage thing is interesting,
but
though.
Everything's a huge assumption. We're literally just spitballing. We know nothing. We are on the complete outside. We're just looking at this going, well, we're going to spitball here because they're throwing everything at the wall right now. Nothing's sticking to it. The spaghetti is dry. It's not even cooked. And that damn spaghetti monster is going to come down and Google our heads half to death.
All right, man. All right. You were just Mr. Like, when are you going to put on the tinfoil hat, bro? Go get some tinfoil and just put it on your head, man.
Let me go get the colander. I'll put it on my head.
Like, is the CIA also sending radio signals into your fillings?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on, man? Are you okay?
I'm fine. Trust me. I'm vaccinated. I'm fine.
All right. You're not worried about the nanobots that they put into your body through the vaccines?
I just have super magnetic strength now. So.
Oh man.
I want to point out here, Dark Titan makes a good point. Here's the problem. Do you think eBay is going to sit and let them tank the game legally? I doubt it. eBay just spent a ton of money buying TCG Player, and a lot of value was in MTG sales. And remember, TCG also did buy out, was it Goldfish? Who was it?
Channel
Fireball.
Don't know.
They bought out Channel Fireball. That's who they bought out. So they're they're the big wheel on the secondary market now. They are the majority of the secondary market, TCG Player with eBay. So they're not going to sit back and say, listen, what you guys doing here, you're tanking us in the process. And that's part of that. It's not just Wizards of the Coast throwing all their eggs in one basket now. It is, they've thrown all these eggs at the wall. Once again, the spaghetti monster comes through the wall, and what we get back is going to be the Cthulhu demon of TCG Player and eBay and Disney's and everyone else in the world saying, no, you can't do this. Yeah. Right? We're also looking at legality problems from artists that haven't been consulted for these artworks to be reused because they're under a royalty basis and not under the original purchase agreement with them.
Maz wants to know if you were abducted by aliens.
Tonight, the aliens.
All roads lead to Denver Airport. Hell yes, Spunky.
Yes.
Good to see you, by the way.
Spunky, welcome.
Yeah, it's very weird because, like, the thing is too is that, like, I mean, I guess I could kind of see that this could be corporate espionage because this like. Because, I mean, I guess... Because
you got to remember, Altifox stepped in there telling Hasbro, you need to spin this off. You need to spin off Magic the Gathering by itself, Dungeons and Dragons by itself. They failed in that acquisition, right? That was just... They only had, 2% of the stock? Or not even that much. And I think Rudy actually has more than that because he's a 7-figure shareholder now.
I don't think... Here's my counter that I had to think about it for a minute. I don't think that Disney sees a deep enough future in their own card game to demand that they do corporate espionage on Hasbro.
I don't think it would be so much that they see a future in their card game. It could be more of them seeing future in their toys. Remember, Hasbro was making majority of Disney toys, right? Mattel has now been spun off, and they're been brought back under the wing of Disney, right? So they're making a lot of their toys now. So that's been split, right? So it just creates a situation where Hasbro stock has been falling over the last year because they've lost contracts to Disney through this situation, and now at the same time, no one's going to buy Hasbro at $110 a stock. There's no way.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So it could simply be a situation where they're just throwing everything at the wall, and if their stock continues to go down and plummet like we saw with Activision Blizzard, then someone's going to step in and deal with all the legality and it all goes away. And that's what's happening with Microsoft and Activision Blizzard right now. Right?
It's the thing is
sort of thing.
The thing is that it's so Like, and this is why I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, I'm
like,
not. I'm not. I just
no,
it's
but
just what I
there's
see,
a point.
right?
There's a point that I'm making, which is that the reason why I'm not a conspiracy theorist is because the majority of conspiracy theories are so outrageously overcomplicated
Oh yeah.
that it's simpler. Like, the simpler explanation is much more likely than the most overcomplicated explanation. And that's why, like, when I think about this, like, when you explain it more and more, it continues to get more and more complicated to the point of where it doesn't sound like that it's feasible. It sounds like it's literally more work and complication than it's actually worth doing.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because
Like I said, I'm
this level of
spitballing.
corporate espionage would be so it would be so expensive, and like they would be putting out so many resources to essentially self-cannibalize a company that they can easily outdo without having to involve corporate espionage in the slightest.
It's just, I know the rumors have always been there for Hasbro to sell Wizards of the Coast, but it never made sense, especially in 2019 when Hasbro made Wizards of the Coast a department of Hasbro. They wouldn't do something like that if they were going to try and sell Wizards of the Coast completely. They would have to turn around and then sell Hasbro as a whole. And right now, they're not having a good
Nathan.
time. Nathan, welcome. Clayton, I see you there.
I want us to take a moment. We've gotten a few new people. We've gotten a couple of new people, at least in my chat log, who are not particularly familiar with MTG, and they have asked what's going on with MTG. So let's real quick break down what's going on again. So do you want to go do it? Because you can if you want.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Spunky, Cinder's going to explain what's going on with Magic right now, so go for it.
So Magic the Gathering is coming up onto its 30th year in creation. And they're now making, they made cards back in the early days. If you're looking at my stream, I've got a bunch of them online on my screen, but over in Habenero, he's just got it as the background. Now, a bunch of these cards are on a list where it says that they will never reprint them, no matter what, to the point
reserve list, right?
Where they made a card last year, and it actually made a token of one of the cards, and Wizards of the Coast actually came out and said, we're still not printing this card because it would be breaking the reserve list. And this reserve list is a whole big list of cards, including some of the most powerful cards in Magic the Gathering. The Black Lotus alone sells up to 6 figures in some markets, right? Now, fast forward 30 years, and they're making a pack that is of the original set of Magic the Gathering. They're calling it beta, even though they're saying from the first printing, so there's a little bit of confusion there. It's more of a beta printing because they don't have square corners. But they're making a pack of cards. You get 4 of these packs of cards that are randomizely seeded. So for $1,000, you get 4 of these packs, and these cards are not legal in anywhere possible.
Yeah,
right?
they're basically
not legal.
They're like collector's edition style.
They're calling it the 30th edition collector's edition or 30th year collector's edition.
So they're basically they're not legal in sanctioned gameplay. They're considered to basically be proxies.
Yes.
So they're not they're Magic cards that are done in the style of collector's edition. They're labeled as proxies. They're not, tournament sanctioned, and they're reprinting a majority of the beta set, including Power 9. And they're basically, what they're doing is they're selling 4 packs for $1,000. $1,000, 4 packs. And then those 4 packs do not guarantee any singular card. You're still basically opening up a booster pack and having a random chance to get absolutely anything in those packs, other than, I guess, basic lands, you said? Basic lands are like the only thing, I think.
You get 2 basic lands per pack. Yeah,
guaranteed 2 basic lands, but everything else is completely randomized. So you're not guaranteed to get Power 9 when you open one of these packs. So you're paying $1,000 to gamble, like, at the possibility of getting Power 9. And there's a range of like other stuff from beta that you can get, but it doesn't even matter because they're not tournament sanctioned cards. They're proxies, and they're done in collector's style. They'll still be sought after because one thing that I wanted to point out, the majority of Magic players are kitchen table and what's it called?
Commander.
Elder Dragon Highlander.
Yeah, Elder Dragon Highlander, Commander, Cube.
So
most players of Magic the Gathering are casual. They don't play in a sanctioned tournament. They just pick up.
So who cares if they're not sanctioned?
Yeah.
You know, because people will buy them to play with them anyways. Like, come on, like.
Okay, Dark Titan's asking me when Activision tanked. Activision on what is this? December 3rd, like 2021. Noon. Their stock went down to $57. They were earlier
from
that year.
70.
Huh?
They went from 70 to like 50.
February 19th, 2021, their stock, February 12th, 2021, their stock was $103. December 3rd, 2021, their stock was $57. Microsoft announced the purchase on January 7th when their stock was $64. So you're telling me that in a series of, is that 8 months? 8 months, they didn't sit there and tank their stock for someone to come in and buy them?
Are you asking me?
No. Yeah. I've got their I've got the stock up on my screen there, Grim. Like literally, I've got it over the last 5 years, and that's what it is. Those are the dates that I'm giving you.
What I'm looking at here
was the 18th. I thought it was the 10th.
So what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at literally just today. I have a stock report that is right in front of my face from just today. From Blizzard. They had a maximum high, which was at about 11:30 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
That was 70.48 at max. And then after the announcement dropped, it plummeted to at about 11. So 11:30, it was at 70, and at 11:40. 10 minutes later, it plummeted down to 67.
8%. Like that.
67.
That's for Hasbro. That absolutely demolished their stock when they made this announcement.
Unbelievable. Like, wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and like, Dark Titan, $74 for it. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking Hasbro there. Right? I don't care so much about the Activision Blizzard, but Microsoft wasn't looking at their stock until they actually were down quite a bit, and then they sat there making those interests as they started to slowly climb up. So it played part of the role. Was it all the allegations that came in there and dealt with Blizzard? No, it was them banning a bunch of their players and doing a lot of shady crap that happened with their game. And it just happened to be in that last year they dealt with the whole Free Hong Kong situation at the same time. So a lot of people lost a lot of credibility from Blizzard Activision.
Yeah. I love it. Spunky, who, Spunky's a friend of mine, and he plays MTG on and off. He doesn't have his finger on the pulse. But I love the fact that my friend Spunky, who doesn't have his finger on the pulse of Magic, even he says, as a banker, that sounds really shady. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it does sound very shady.
Anyway, the real reason why we're here to talk tonight, Habanero, what would you spend $1,000 on?
Rent.
100%. You'd spend it on some rent. Okay, if you didn't have rent and it was frivolous money that you could just throw away, what would you spend $1,000 on?
Oh, gee whiz. I'd probably spend it on like a new setup. Like I think I kind of like decided that I kind of want a green screen. So maybe like a green screen or something, like a high quality one, which would be in like the multiple $100 range, I guess.
You could just go to the fabric store and pick up a sheet of green.
I mean, I kind of want a nice one, you know?
Yeah, no, I know.
Like,
Apparently, by the way, Habanero, I have been looking into it, but I haven't looked into it too far. Apparently, you can chroma key without a green screen now.
I have been seeing stuff about that recently.
Yeah,
I have.
uses that.
Yeah,
And he uses it very well.
Nathan says, I love it. The majority is like
rent,
Clayton's
mortgage,
like, I'd spend it on rent.
Crash
Nathan
Test
says, I'd spend it on mortgage.
Crash Test says spend $1,000 on his birthday. That's this Friday.
It's like, what's so great about this is like, it's like, oh, well, we want you to spend $1,000 on magic cards. And it's like, I spend $1,000 to keep living. I don't know if I have the luxuriousness of, the luxury of spending it on like 4 packs of fucking cards.
See, people have been pointing out you can buy a high quality printer for $500, about another $100 for the ink and the cardboard, and you can print these yourselves and have unlimited proxies. And still have money for beer.
You can spend $50 for 50 cards, like 50 Chinese proxies. That's what I did. That's what I did. I don't regret it.
People that make skinned cards that are completely altered as proxies right now. It's absolutely ridiculous to even think someone's going to drop $1,000 on this.
Yeah.
You can buy a 4080 RTX for $1,000 right now.
The disgusting thing, though, is knowing that this is going to work.
Well,
you know it's going to work.
Hold on. Not necessarily. There's already 10,000 copies of these sent out to going to stores.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, but that doesn't... What does that say to you that it's not going to work?
10,000 copies we know is the minimum run on this. Right?
Okay.
The more that this sells, the less it's going to be worth anything.
Well, I mean...
But at the same time... Let's do the math here. It's 60 cards at 10,000 copies right now. That's 60,000. No, sorry, 60 cards. That's 600,000 cards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm adding a zero. Yeah. 600,000 cards already out. That's the minimum circulation of this. If nobody buys them from Wizards Direct, right? Double that. So 1.2 million cards. That's not even including the actual Power 9, the actual rares. That's how many cards. 8 of which of those are basic lands per those 60 cards.
That's such hilarious, unbelievable bullshit. I love that. Oh yeah, but you're guaranteed 8 lands. It's
yeah. In 60 cards, you get 8 basic lands.
Is that supposed to make me feel better? I'm dishing out a K and you can guarantee me 8 lands? Go suck a cock.
Yeah.
Like, are you
like
kidding
I said,
me?
Walk into a store, buy a beta land for like $5 right now. Have fun. That's all you need to do.
Oh man.
These proxies won't hold their value. They're not even going to hold the sticker price at this point. Yeah. There's going to be a fire sale. They're going to be selling these things on the open market for maybe $100. Like back in '93 when the original collector's edition was out there, it was a full set for $50.
Yeah.
How much?
I mean, a lot of those old collector editions sell for a fortune now. But I mean, whatever.
But how much is a full set of a collector's edition?
I even have some collector's edition cards that I managed to pick up over time.
A full set of collectors. Oh, sorry. The Black Lotus from it apparently is $1,300.
Well, yeah. Getting a lot of good answers on what to spend $1,000 on over in my chat. I'm reading all of them. Not immediately. Me and Cinder are in a deep conversation, so I can't respond to everything. But I am reading what you guys are putting out.
We're trying. Did
Especially
they ship yet? I can check Southern Hobby for wholesale costs. November 28th, I believe, is when they go on sale. So you might be able to look up if they've been shipped out. I don't think they've been shipped out, but they're supposed to be November 28th, so they would be next month.
I really do think that this is still going to be a successful thing. I think it'll be. I think they'll succeed.
They sold out Magic 30 in Vegas.
Yeah.
Right.
This will succeed, which is disgusting.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting to see that we know there's thousands of people out there in the marketplace right now that will just drop $1,000 on 4 packs.
Oh my god!
For nothing.
Hold on, I gotta say one thing. I just got the best comment from, once again, Spunky. I love the fact that you barely pay attention to Magic because it means that like the stuff that you see,
They did a contest with them.
Which I love the fact that he brings up Post Malone because they are doing a Post Malone secret lair. They are dedicating
He's getting his own secret lair
to Post Malone as a limited release.
Did you? Okay, out of all the new secret layers coming out, did you see the Rebecca Guay, what they did to her artwork and that card? It's absolute travesty. It's
my favorite. Yeah, I haven't kept up with that at all.
Oh, I'm pissed because her card looks absolutely. It looks like trash.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you here if I can get to it.
I have a few favorite pieces of Rebecca Guay art. I love her Sarah Angel. That's one of my favorites. And also, what's that card that I adore? It's a Dryad card. It has like Forest Walk.
Dryad or whatever.
No, it's
is that Therese Nielsen? I sent it to you there in Discord. I would bring it up in the stream, but I know I'll lose all my artwork there, so I won't do it tonight.
All right, I'm gonna let my stream freak out just for a second so I can see
what they've done to this card is an absolute travesty.
What's wrong with it?
Can you read it?
I mean, I only looked at it real briefly, but it's
the
very
artwork
hard
is
to
nice.
read.
The artwork is nice, but the artwork in that old frame with the old writing is an absolute travesty. That's a planeswalker.
What?
Yeah, that's a planeswalker.
Old style?
In the old style, that's Elsbeth. Can you even read that that's Elsbeth at the top?
I guess. I mean, that's really ugly. That's very ugly. It looks ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Planeswalkers weren't meant to be done in the old style.
No. I'll put it in the Discord for those that are there. It's an absolute travesty. The way this card looks. It's Rebecca Guay. I love her artwork, but on this card it looks absolutely like trash. Yeah, Warhammer 40k Commander decks premium is set at $345. Warhammer decks have gone through the roof because of some of the cards that are in there. Because they're printing cards that you can't get anywhere else, like they did with the Walking Dead Secret Lair. So the decks are going through the roof. They're commander decks. Commander decks have always gone up in price. Even when they aren't a good commander deck, over the years, they always go up in price. That's majority of what happens with most Magic the Gathering product. 3 to 5 years, they will gain value.
Mm. Yeah,
$1,000 chips for Cinder's OnlyFans. Yeah. I'll get on the pole for $1,000.
Hell yeah, man! You gonna come over here and give me a lap dance?
Yeah, let's go.
Come on, baby. Come on, let's go. Oh yeah, touch me.
Yeah. Through the camera.
Touch me. Yeah, Magic is a goddamn mess, and I think that this is a sign that it's like, because I would have believed overall that it could have gone on for another decade or two, but I legitimately, like, my perspective is that they're expecting to completely fall apart within the next 5 years. That's what I feel like is legitimately happening. No joke.
Well,
so
like I said, it's not hard to take one of these cards and put it into a sleeve. This is a proxy. This is 100% a proxy.
I have my proxies in front of me too.
Like, looking at it, there is no reason why I wouldn't do that. Now, you take a proxy, put it on official paper, you put it in a sleeve, and bam, you have an actual legitimate card. Is this going to create an... Proxy. Oh my god, you have a Chaos Orb? I hate you.
Yeah, it's a fake Chaos Orb. You like that?
Oh, okay. Good.
No, these are not real. These are not that cool. There you go. There's a bizarre
$1,000 season pass to the Calgary Flames.
These are fake. I got a whole collection here of fake stuff. And guess what? You know what's really cool about these fake cards? They play like the real deal. Mm-hmm. They play like real cards. Isn't that crazy?
Especially if they're sleeved.
Isn't it crazy that this, isn't it insane that this Chains of Mephistopheles is $1 and it's fake, but it plays like a real Magic card?
I was
Who
waiting
would
for
have
them to go in the
thought
air.
this Lion's Eye Diamond plays like a real magic card?
Go look at what you sent me in Discord. You didn't send me anything. Oh, there it is, Grim.
It's nuts.
Okay. What am I looking for here, Grim?
5 years, we'll see if they can pull themselves out of this. I don't know. I really think, like, my theory. Like, I mean, I can understand why Cinder thinks it's corporate espionage. I think it's too complicated to be. I think that the corporate espionage theory is too complicated to be real. My theory.
No, I'm not posting it there, Grim.
My theory is that.
What do you want me to look at there? The Warhammer 40k Commander Decks Premium set at $345 wholesale for stores, and they're going through the roof. Yeah.
I legitimately think that they looked ahead based on the future information, and they realized that their company's going to fall apart. And they're bailing out.
Well, remember when Chris Cox first took over, it was the fire design that came in there, where they did top down for the set. They would always build the biggest baddest thing, and then worry about the story after, and completely fill it out. Right? It used to be you would get a magic novel. Right? Then you would read the magic novel and they'd make the cards that would suit that story. But now it's...
The books are usually written after the cards.
But they were able to actually do things simultaneously, and you could see the cards being used in the books and vice versa.
Right.
Right?
There's some that are like that, but it's most common that the books are after. Like, especially, like, the older books. A lot of the older books were written after. Like, for example, like, Legends Cycle, which is, like, one of my all-time favorites. That was made years after Legends. So.
Okay.
But no, I mean, I know that there are some books, like, because you're not wrong. There are some books that are made in production simultaneously as the cards.
Dark Titan.
But a lot of the time, they make the cards first.
There was an 11% increase. Sorry, Dark Titan saying Infinity boxes at $91 at wholesale. There was an 11% increase in the last year on Magic the Gathering products. That was announced earlier in the year, and that's part of the Hasbro woes of their stock going down. That they announced that during a recession.
Yeah.
Right? When they announced that, I went, okay. I went from Shadows over Innistrad at $99 Canadian a box to now a Dominaria United box is $170 Canadian. It has almost doubled where I'm at for a box of cards.
Thoth, do you think that it's corporate espionage like Cinder thinks it is? I'm curious. He thinks it is actually as complicated, or relatively as complicated as you theorize it to be. I'm on this is actually good. Like, Cindershadow has, like, the complicated concept of, like, what's going on, and I have the simplistic concept of what's going on. So I'm kind of curious to where people lean on this one.
Well,
you know,
part of my thing is with the Lorcana coming out. From everything I've seen, to me, it would be a violation of Wizards of the Coast IP, right? So,
are you talking about the Disney card stuff?
But at the same time, Hasbro's not going to bite the hand that feeds and go after Disney, because that would completely ruin them. So, what's the most logical thing at this point? That's just why I've come up with that.
I don't know. Right? It just seems...
Hi, aliens. Hey, James P. I see that. Smash the like, everyone. Everyone's saying smash the like. Smash the like for Habenero, because he's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
He's got the amazing corn shirt on right now. He's showing off his chest for you guys. He's absolutely amazing. So smash the like just for Habenero.
You're ridiculous. I love you, man. I know recently, the thing is too, is me and Cinder were at each other's throats a couple of days ago, so. And then we both had to come up and be like, hey, like, I had to come up to him and I'm like, hey, sorry, I was an idiot. And then Cinder's like, no, I was an idiot. And I'm like, no, shut the hell up, I was an idiot. And then we proceeded to hate each other, trying to prove who was the bigger idiot.
We just gotta swing that mean hammer every once in a while. That's all.
Me and Cinder beat the shit out of each other with our words on a regular basis. See, the thing is that I'm convinced that Cindershadow has terrible opinions, and Cindershadow usually tries to say, well, my opinions may be terrible, but screw you. And I'm like, okay, fair argument.
Yeah. Crash Test says we're both idiots. And so does Clayton.
Clayton, dude, that was amazing. He like predicted the future right then. He's like, "You're both idiots. Shut up."
Oh, we're supposed to go spend time in the naughty corners. That's DJ Longhair saying that's what friends are for. Shit talking keeps you sharp every day of my life.
Absolutely.
Every day. Thought over there on Habs. It could be just dumb incompetency, which very well could be.
Yeah.
No, it's not dumb incompetency. It is someone is building their golden parachute and they're getting ready to let off.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I think too, is that they're like, I think they see that the company's going to fall apart and they're trying to get the hell out with as much money as possible.
They see the tulips are about to wilt.
Yeah.
Is what it's about to happen here. And who is going to be left holding the bag? Yeah. Also, you can look public financial statements for free. Publicly traded companies post them on.
Thanks for being here,
site.
Nathan.
Yes.
I appreciate you. Have a great night.
What is Transformers worth now? That is the question. That's a good question. I think there's a new show maybe coming out. I'm not entirely sure. The Transformer cards that were designed for Brothers War were actually made in Quebec, by the way.
The Transformer, like the original IP?
No, the ones that they put on the cards, they were actually made in Quebec by a company out there. Yeah.
You mean the artwork?
The artwork.
The artwork for the Transformers cards?
Yes.
Oh, weird.
Yep.
The artists are you saying that the artists were from Quebec?
No, it's a company in Quebec that actually designed the art for those cards.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird. I did not know that.
And and it was given to Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro to make. It's kind of weird. Hey, Daniel. Hey, Stay and Play.
Quick cash grab. Well, I mean, it's more than just a quick cash grab. Like, because the thing is that, like, if, like, the reason why this whole situation is so complicated is because of all of the legality tied into it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why this is so messy. They can't just simply reprint the beta set and Power 9 and be like, oh, we're just trying to make a quick buck. And it's like, no.
No,
there's a whole bunch of legal hoops you have to jump through.
Yeah.
And none of them are going to be easy for you to get through because all those legal hoops are set on fire and covered in barbed wire.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a simple cash grab. Like,
no, this isn't a simple one where you can just throw these cards out there and have everyone sit there and go, we're fine with this. Everyone's going to sit there in the room going, you know it's on fire, right? You need to get out of it. Right? And was just like, yeah, I've got coffee, I'm good. Like, what is this?
Yeah. Well, it's like, even if we, like, I know we kind of mentioned this earlier, but we didn't go into deep detail. Even if we ignore the reserve list crap, because let's face it, that's a goddamn shitstorm. Okay. Oh, yeah. And there's no way. Like, I really do expect them to have some reserve list backlash, because let's face it, like, they can go into it's not sanctioned event. Like, you can't, like, play it in real legit tournaments. And it's like, these are real Magic cards. Like, a while ago, they did a Black Lotus for a Hasbro card game that wasn't Magic related, and people freaked the hell out about it. Yeah. But the point is that was not a real Magic card. It was okay for them to do that because it wasn't a Magic card. It didn't have, like, the rules of Magic. The card was not designed to be played in Magic. It was literally a completely different card for a completely different game. The reason why this is such a big deal, these are Magic cards. You can purchase these and put them into a deck and you can play with them. Therefore, they are coming up against the reserve list. They can
Yeah.
yell and scream all they want about them being proxies, but they're still Magic cards being produced by Wizards of the Coast as a Magic product.
I cannot find it for the life of me now, and I believe it's been scrubbed. The original article that came out after they printed the original collector's edition, there was an article that came out saying that they would never do that again, and I'm still trying to hunt that down. I'm thinking Edwin from Open Boosters may have a copy of it.
Okay.
Because they have a lot of that scry and stuff like that.
Right.
So it would be in that, and I believe that their statement on that was originally printed in like a scry or an inquest. Because there was a lot of backlash for it by collectors, by people. Like, there was the original reason for the reserve list that came up was the backlash for printing Chronicles, which was a complete reprint, tanking all the values of these cards. Wizards going out there and saying, we're never going to print these cards again, to create a trust in the market and trust in investors. That ship has now sailed with the new printing of this. Their investors that are there are already losing confidence in their stock through Hasbro, and we see that straight off the bat by their stock dipping 8%.
Yeah.
Their investors are going, what are you doing? Your number one thing in your company is this game, and you fucked it up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I thought this is saying exactly what I was saying, which is the Duel Masters Black Lotus doesn't mean anything. Yeah. I agree with that. But this is a big deal because this is essentially a reserve list reprint. Like, it's a Magic card. You can buy it and you can play with it. It's a
they changed the back so it's not exactly the same thing, and they recropped it. Well, did you really? When the gold border versions of these were printed back in the day, people used to take them and glue them on basic lands and then sell them as real cards.
Are you talking about rebacks?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, but the other thing that I wanted to target of the legality issues,
I'm getting pinged everywhere now.
The what?
I'm getting pinged everywhere.
Well, so like the reserve list is definitely going to be a legality issue that they're going to have to jump through. Like I said, it's a hoop that's on fire covered in barbed wire. And they're going to have to jump through that. And I don't know what the hell they're going to do. Like I said, that's why I think this whole situation is based around a sinking ship and they're bailing out. But the other situation is, and I don't know, I don't think we went into too much detail.
Because we all said that back a year ago.
I don't think we went into too much detail about it, but the Hoover situation. The legality of the artwork in the Hoover situation.
Quentin Hoover, which is the artist for Meek Stone, which I have
a bunch of other things.
I have up here. And he did other ones. But he passed away, and his children actually owns the rights to his copyright. And they're going, no one contacted us. Wizards of the Coast contacted them years ago to try and buy out their artwork outright. And they said no.
Yeah.
They said straight up no.
Because the royalties are worth an absolute unfathomable fortune.
Yeah. So now
like, why would they sell it?
The people that are the artists and their children are not getting a cut of this $1,000 per pack of this. They're not getting a cut out of these reprinting cards.
Yeah. So Meek Stone is considered to be one of the ones that is definitely going to be in there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All the cards that I have, I took. Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I looking at? Stay and play. You're showing me foil Joker cards. Stay and play. What am I looking at? No, chat's been scrolling, going. Okay, what do we got? Cards aren't worth a bunch of money anymore. Are those which cards, Daniel? A lot of these are. So I'm not really 100% sure if I know exactly what happened. Is it them reprinting Black Lotus and stuff bad? Because it devaluates the ones that existed were crazy expensive. The thing is, it depends on where this is. By doing a $1,000 price point, that to me says that they are trying to respect the reserve list by putting this $1,000 price point. Hold on. by putting this $1,000 price point, but that $1,000 price point is a slap in the face to anybody that has ever held a Magic card in their hand, to the nature of the game, and to every artist, every player, every store owner, and every employee at Wizards of the Coast right now. That is a complete slap to the face to everybody out there, right? So them reprinting this Black Lotus is a pretty big deal, because yeah, they made a different backing on it. You put it in a sleeve, it's still a Black Lotus.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like, I mean, I have collector's edition cards in my cube.
Yeah.
I play with them. They're fine.
Right.
Like I said, guess what, guys? This card, this proxy, it plays just like don't tell anybody. It plays just like the real thing. It's you could totally play with this. I know. Listen, it's not real.
Yeah, super fast artists here saying, not only can you buy and play with these cards, you can trade and sell these cards. They fill a spot in the MTG economy. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Was Garth One Eye the clue that they were that Lotus proxies were on the way? Well, when Garth One Eye was printed, Wizards of the Coast and Mark Rosewater came out and said, we are not printing anything. We're not printing tokens to go with the card because it would violate the reserve list. Yeah, exactly. A year later, they're printing the reserve list.
I'm telling you, dude, this is them bailing out of the boat. That's why I legitimately think they looked 3 to 5 years ahead.
Horrible year. They've had a
they're looking 3 to 5 years ahead, and they're saying, we are sinking. We need to get the hell out. Let's reprint the reserve list.
Yeah. Someone asked,
or I should say Power 9.
Someone asked Mark Rosewater in 2017 if you're going to print the reserve list with black border, blue border, gold border, and Mark Rosewater's answer was no. He said, we are not entertaining this. End of discussion. We're 2022. 5 years later, they're printing them.
Yeah, but the thing is you can't trust WotC. WotC lies all the time. Remember what their original excuse for mythic rarity was? Do you remember what they used to say about what mythic rarity was?
Yeah.
They used to say mythic rarity was for flavor purposes. Yes. They originally created the mythic rarity for big, splashy, like, flavor cards that would have no impact on the meta. When they first started printing mythic rares, the whole point was so that they could make a new rarity with big, splashy bullshit that wasn't supposed to actually impact the meta. They don't care. Look at what it's evolved into.
They don't care. They'll
lie to your face if it means that they can take $1 from you. Like, they don't give a shit.
They keep the flavor aspect by printing that one crap red mythic in every set.
Like, if they gotta tell a bold-faced lie to your face just so that you'll hand them $1, they'll do it. They don't care. Like,
this is an absolute travesty. It's going to be a train wreck. The comments I see online is absolutely ridiculous. Cinder, you want a store owner on this one? Sparrow wants to come in. No, because then we got to reset everything for our streams. And it took us long enough to do that. When were Mythics introduced? Was it Lorwyn?
No, I actually know exactly when Mythic was introduced. It was introduced in Alara. I remember because I bought a fuck ton of Alara.
Lore Reborn. Lorwyn was Planeswalkers.
Well, Lorwyn introduced Planeswalkers, but they were all printed at rare.
Is that? I have a little.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't have.
The original Lorwyn Planeswalkers were all printed at normal rarity.
But by printing these cards, this means nothing's off the table. It means they're going to print in every set.
Yeah. But Mythic Rarity was introduced in Alara. They'll lie to your face about anything.
Yeah,
if
like,
it means
Mythic Rares have always actually been there with track printing.
Oh yeah, the rarities within rarities.
Yeah.
So for example, like, even if you're talking about Mythic Rares, there's multiple tiers of Mythic Rare.
Well,
and then if you're talking about regular rares, there's multiple tiers of regular rares. And hell, there's even multiple tiers of uncommons and commons.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole bunch of invisible rare slots.
Yes.
Like, that you don't know about because you don't have the track printing
Aspara's got it all
information.
in chat right now. Rare 1, rare 2, uncommon 1, uncommon 3, common 1,
Yeah.
common 3.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they were there. They were there. I
Yep.
remember going through Inquest, looking at them going, okay, so this one from Fallen Empires is 5 cents, but this one from Fallen Empires for the same card in a different artwork is $2.
That's like when back in like Legends, when they had like the different kinds of uncommons, and the upper tiers of uncommons were like technically rares and stuff like that.
That was the other thing too with the Legends that they opened. They knew which pallets they were. They knew exactly which boxes they were opening because
A box and B box.
Yeah, A box and B box. So they knew exactly what they were opening when they opened those things. You think that pallet sat in the back of a warehouse, them not knowing about it for years? No. It's like the same thing they do when they do a beta draft at these big events, at these giant events. They know exactly what's being opened up onto the marketplace.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is because like there's an article that's one of my favorite old school Magic the Gathering articles, and I even have it saved and bookmarked because every once in a while
I just see normal Discord. I'm not seeing messages in Discord too much. If you're sending, I saw you send me something in Facebook there, Stay and Play.
There's an old article that's one of my favorites, and if you're curious, I'll send it to you later, Cindershadow.
Yeah.
There's an article that I have that I read every once in a while because it kind of like grounds me as like a Magic player. And it talks about this guy's experience with being from starting out as a regular old wet behind the ears Magic player into becoming a full-blown employee at Wizards of the Coast. And he talks about all of his experiences, you know, going through that lifestyle. And it's literally like a miniature Magic the Gathering biography, like autobiography. And what's fascinating is my favorite part of the article is he explains that his introduction into working at Wizards of the Coast is he starts working in the warehouses where they store Magic cards that they don't sell, like boxes and pallets of Magic cards that they don't sell. And they explain how they're supposed to catalog the pallets and the collections of cards and things like that. Some of them are totally sealed, and some of them get opened up for a variety of reasons. And one of the best parts is there's a point where he's working with one of the guys, and the guy is pulling out cards from a pallet. Like, he's working with basically one of the other guys who's been working in the warehouses for years. And he's, you know, following the guy. He's basically shadowing under him. And the guy basically, you know, cracks open a pallet. He's going through cards. And he starts pulling out cards and he starts marking them up with a Sharpie marker for whatever reason. Like, okay, this is this kind of box. It has this kind of information. Yeah. Like, you know, write it down. And so he like pulls out cards, pulls out a Sharpie, starts drawing all over them to mark them, and then puts them back and then catalogs them. And like every once in a while, he'll pull out like a really just juicy ass rare card. Like some beta bullshit. And he'll just draw all over it with a Sharpie. And he'll mark it and then catalog it and then put it away. And the guy who's telling the autobiographical story, he says, dude, that was like a Mox Pearl, or that was like, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and you drew all over that with a Sharpie. And then the guy pulls out a Black Lotus. He pulls out a Black Lotus and he starts writing all over it with a Sharpie marker. And he's like, see this? Cardboard. We have a job to do. Catalog the cards and keep going. Like, he's like, there's hundreds of these. Like, there's so many of these cards in this warehouse. They don't mean a goddamn thing. It's cardboard. Like, so like, and ever since I read that article, it gave me this perspective that like, you don't know how many boxes of cards they have in their warehouses at Wizards of the Coast. You have no idea. You don't know what they're actually worth. You don't know how much they're holding. You don't know how much are in the market.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know when they could suddenly open up all those boxes and flood the market. You don't know how many employees are actually invested in that.
That was part of it when they opened up all those legends cards, which was 8 to 10 boxes, and there was 10 boxes per case.
Yeah.
Back then.
They could flood the market with those Legends cards.
They can flood the market with that, but they put them back into other things. But by opening all of those, they actually made the value of most Legends. They should have went up slightly because now that was a known number that's been opened on the market. Right? But because they repack them, it may not do much, but every time one big hit comes out of that, it usually spreads on social media, so that card will go up ever so slightly every time something like that happens.
Thoth, are you okay? You just like deleted all of your own messages.
Thoth, where'd you go? I'm guessing
he just
probably dropped
straight up deleted all of his messages. Are you okay?
Deleted.
Are the Wizards of the Coast like did Wizards of the Coast hit agents come in and like start erasing? Do you know too much? Is that what happened? He sent too much, everybody. The Wizards of the Coast agents, they got him.
Asphera knows how many boxes of Arabian Nights was sent to the furnace.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing, is because like you don't know how many cards they have.
Yeah,
it's very common for them to print a lot of cards and then shelve
burn them.
It's very normal.
Shelve them or burn them.
Yeah,
they used to burn. Like, look at Summer Magic. That was supposed to be burnt, and
I was literally about to bring that one up.
Yeah, and it got thrown out onto the market, and people went, "Oh, what do I have here? Oh, do I have a blue hurricane? Oh, do I have a card that's blacklight reactive?"
Was it the Urnum Dijin or something that had like green border but like blue symbols or something like that?
Yeah,
so weird.
So many problems with that set.
It's so weird. We can't send this out. We can't. The quality control is awful. People won't buy this. What are we doing? It's like, ugh. God, if you could see yourself, 10 years in the future.
Yeah. Like, whatever. Just now they get misprints and they send out whole cases of misprints. And people are like, oh, sweet. I opened up a fortune. No, you didn't. It's so common now to get a misprint. They're worthless.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
Asphera's losing his mind because he's like, I have so much info, it's all there, because he's in store. Asphera is a store owner or ex-store owner. He has hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in product here. Asphera, seeing you're in chat there, what is your thought on the Magic 30? Is it do you like it? Do you want this product to go through for $1,000 for 60 cards? $1,000 for 60 cards.
He might know somebody who comes in and spends like $1,000 on product.
He says he likes it. He likes the product.
There you go.
He likes it. For $1,000, you okay, Asphera? Can I have $1,000?
If he's not being sarcastic, it's probably because he knows that it will sell.
Asphera, can I have seriously? Can I have $1,000? I have a power bill I got to pay.
He probably
like buy it, but I know it's a good idea.
Like, Asphera, is it because you know that it will sell? Is that why? Because that makes sense to me. It will sell. If you like, he'll probably get like multiple people who come in and be like, "Hey, do you have Magic 30? Do you have the Magic 30? I will buy it for $1,000 right here, right now. Money on the table."
Okay, Sarah says nope because of sell for vintage. What? What do you mean? I don't mind fake real cards by Wizards, but the price is what offends me. Oh, the price offends a lot of people. Everyone's like, $500? Inkjet printer? Let's go. Like,
Asphera,
more cards for the vintage community, but you can't use them for the vintage community.
Do you think that if you were to get Magic 30, do you think that it will not sell in your store?
the Luninous. Don't ask questions, just buy the product and get excited for the next one. Asphera, we already told you, if we do that, it gets all messed up.
Oh, Thoth, you're fine. Don't worry about that. You're okay, buddy. You don't have to self-moderate yourself like that. You're fine.
Thoth,
don't worry.
Yeah, you're good.
You're in a safe space. You're okay, buddy. You're okay.
Vintage doesn't mind proxies. This is the biggest thing. If this is such a big deal for vintage players, for more cards in there, why aren't they printing proxies?
I think the target audience here, like, to be totally honest, the target audience is definitely Kitchen Magic and Commander.
Well, Wizards
Like,
of the
hands
Coast in their
down.
statement today said that this product was printed for those people that never got to crack these packs in the years past to crack open a Black Lotus, to crack open a Power 9. For $250 a pack, right? Pokemon, for their 20th anniversary, sold $3 collector edition packs for people to open up reprints of the original product. And they sold thousands of them. But Magic the Gathering does it for $250 a pack, for a chance, for a lottery ticket, for a pull at the slot machine, the sexy, sexy slot machine that you got to rub down real nice and say, listen, we're going to open up something great here. We're going to hit 3 bars, aren't we? And they do it over and over and over again.
Thoth, I can confirm for you that nothing you said would get you striked. Like,
Yeah,
you don't
Thoth,
have to worry about it. Nothing you've said this entire time would get you striked. Like, I just want to reassure you, buddy.
Vintage events allow 1993 collector's edition? Since when?
Could you repeat that? I missed what you said.
Asphera says vintage events are allowing 1993 collector's editions.
Really? That's unusual. That is unusual.
That's not common knowledge.
I don't think there's much in the vintage, like, community. Like, the vintage community is built up of mostly, like,
vintage,
high
not
rollers,
DCI. So
and they're
once again,
it's a minority.
So what you're more talking kitchen table, not legality with judges sitting there.
I mean, like, I can definitely think of, like,
Asphera saying they should have been $100 max per pack.
So one thing that immediately comes to mind is Edwin the Magic Engineer.
Yep.
Edwin the Magic Engineer is a very strong, like, first of all, he's a fantastic and totally invested vintage player. He loves vintage. Yep. It's his jam. He adores it. And he also collects cards that are highly expensive, specifically for the purpose of playing vintage. With that said, he is also a very heavy advocate of playing with proxies.
Yep.
Not proxies for the purpose of selling and cheating people. He likes the idea of proxies being used for the purpose of allowing more people to come into vintage, because he thinks that vintage is such a good format that people who can't afford it should be allowed to play it as well.
By the way, Habenero, did you know there's a top tier deck for vintage right now for $1,000?
Buy a whole deck for $1,000.
It's $1,002 in cards to buy it.
Well, then clearly the 4 boosters for 1,000 is cheaper than 1,002. Right? I'd have to shell out a whole nother $2 if I want to play that deck.
Yeah, Death and Tax is $1,000 deck that you can play in vintage right now.
Hey, Stay and Play, good to see you. Just now saw you walk in.
Wizards of the Coast gatekeeps themselves. Oh yeah, there was also the one guy that came out saying that this is Wizards of the Coast opening up the floodgates, and they're no longer gatekeeping because it's cheaper. You can get into the vintage market at $250 a pack, but you know, sure, you still need 4 copies of each Black Lotus. You still need 4 copies of each Dual Land. This doesn't solve anything. All this does is pisses off every single investor, every single player, and every single person that looks at this and goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, this is definitely target. Like I said, I stick by the idea. This is targeting kitchen table. Excuse me. This is targeting kitchen table and
Lotus
Commander.
is restricted. You can only have 1.
In like what, vintage?
Yeah. You can only have 1. You can only have 1. Yeah. There was only 1.
There can only be 1. It's the true. It's the true Highlander.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like, and the whole thing about me bringing up Edwin is that even like Edwin goes and plays with proxies in vintage games. Like, I mean, he has an all vintage deck so he can participate in vintage tournaments. But the majority of the vintage games he plays is casual with his friends. And he uses proxies, and so do his friends
saying
use proxies.
they're holding 10K tournaments where you can use these cards in.
Yeah. So the whole thing is that they're trying to be like, oh, we're not violating the reserve list because you can't play with these in sanctioned tournaments. Bitch, you are targeting casual players, and the majority of your formats that are popular and used by the majority of the people that you're targeting are casual formats that don't give a shit about sanctioned tournaments. Wizards, you know exactly what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what you're doing. Like, oh, they're just collector's items, and they're targeting people who've always wanted to open a booster of beta.
I think I
to
saw
open
a post
a Black
today.
Lotus, and they're not supposed to be played with. Bitch, you know they're going to be.
I think I saw a post today from the Commander Committee. I haven't looked into it, but the post was saying that they're going to allow these in Commander.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are! Because that's who they're targeting! That's who they're targeting!
Desolator.
That's what this is for!
Some bullshit from him. Oh yeah, this is some BS super fast bullshit, says Longhair. These cards could lead to cards that are banned in EDH to be unbanned.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
like I said, is not. That's exactly it. $1,000 is not a casual price. I'd rather go buy a brand new TV for $1,000. I'd rather go buy a Asus laptop for $1,000. Hell, give me a treadmill for $1,000. I need to work off the weight.
You don't listen, Maz. You don't. I don't just send out my butt onions to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't send out my butt onions to anybody.
Stampley, give me a car. I'd buy Hab's dog for $1,000. Oh. You hear that? You hear that, Habanero? You can trade your dog right now for 4 packs of Magic cards.
Dude, that'd be underselling my dog. Are you kidding me? He's a goddamn king. Survey, my king. Where you be at?
Longhair says I can buy real dual lands for 1,000. Exactly. Cinder, you have a life. You know what 1,000 can get you. Most casual players would rather own cardboard. Yeah, luxury cardboard rectangles, right? Right. Damn luxury cardboard rectangles.
I don't know if it's necessarily corrupt that the Commander Committee would allow these. I don't feel like that. Because, I mean, most people who play Commander don't give a shit about the Commander Committee. Commander is primarily a casual... It's kitchen table. Commander is primarily kitchen table. Like I said, this is targeting kitchen table players, which is literally the majority of people who play Magic.
But here's the thing. Kitchen table players would already, if not have the proxies, or sit there and look at the price tag of this and go, I'm just going to go get proxies then. Fuck you.
Yeah, whale kitchen table.
Why would they even bother with this product? That's the problem. There's already a replacement product
the boat's
on
sinking,
the market.
Cinder. The reason why they're doing this is because the boat is sinking. Yeah. That's what I think is happening.
No, Asphera, none of them will be foiled.
They're planning the boat to sink before it's hit the iceberg.
Yeah, and
that's why
you get 2 basic lands per pack.
2 basic lands per pack.
When I read that, I'm like, you're kidding, right?
I love that. I love the 2 basic lands per pack. That is that right there is worth $1,000. Bro, you're gonna shell out $1,000? I've got.
So if it's so much like the original Alpha, they're reprinting Alpha. This should be all foil. In all honesty, if they made them all foil, I don't think they have a problem with the reserve list then.
I don't think that's how that works.
No, I think foil versions of cards are allowed.
No, because remember the whole
50%
mess?
foil. 50%
remember the whole mess with what was it?
Gray's Cradle for the Judge promos?
Phyrexian Negator. Remember the Phyrexian Negator mess? from
yeah, where they printed it, and then it was on the cover of a dual deck or something like that.
It was Coalition versus Phyrexia, and it was the first time where they were like, no, we're allowed to reprint. We're allowed to reprint Phyrexia Negator because it's foil with new artwork.
Foils are stuck totally in the reprint clause, are they?
And they actually ran into legal trouble because they did it. And then after that happened, they paid off the damage, and then they're like, okay, we can't do that ever again. And their whole excuse was literally originally that we can get away with this because they're all printed in foil and with new artwork.
Yeah.
That was like their whole shtick. And it bit them in the ass, and they had to pay damage. Like, and then they promised that they could never do it again.
Sparta says you're wrong, but okay.
It's what?
Sparta says you're wrong.
About the negators? I'm pretty sure that like the negator, like the whole negator thing in Coalition versus
Exo-Right, I know him quite well. He is a ex-pro. Well, sort of. He's played at higher level tournaments and actually met Mark. He's saying they might get into legal trouble over this nonsense too. Which I'm not. I think there's a line here, and we're going to see very, very quickly where that line is. Where is the line in the sand for Wizards of the Coast reprinting these things? Where is the line in the sand for the artists standing up for their own sake at this point? Because we're already seeing some of them coming out saying they were never asked about this. We're seeing Mark Poole's Birds of Paradise signature getting deleted off one version of the card in this. We're seeing a ton of mistakes in this whole thing. 8.5% downward on the stock today. Like this shook the investors. The investors for Hasbro went, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah,
in a sleeve, they just play normal. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting few days. We'll see where the market ends on the end of the week. I'm surprised they didn't announce this on a Friday, because that's usually when things they usually announce things like this on a Friday when there's the weekend to have it all disappear. Forget about it.
So let me read real quick a small section of an article that I found out by looking up this information. So in 2010, the reserve list was altered in a less popular way in response to From the Vault relics, which included Karn the Silver Golem, Masticore, Memory Jar, Mox Diamond, all cards from the reserve list, as well as Dual Decks Phyrexia versus the Coalition, which included the Phyrexian Negator. The original reserve list policy allowed Wizards to reprint cards as premium foils, but in response to a large amount of negative feedback, this loophole was closed. Mark Rosewater then addressed the outcry on his blog multiple times, stating, "We were experimenting with pushing a loophole. It went terribly awful, and we promised to never do it again." In a later post, he even confirmed that it was an attempt to try to slowly phase out the reserved list. Basically, what happened is they were basically a bunch of people threatened them after they did this, and then they promised to never do it again.
Yeah, it's fair saying they expected this to be a positive push for the company. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not. It's had the exact opposite effect. The market is saying, "What are you doing?" Right? So, if I were Wizards of the Coast, I'd be seriously thinking, can we cancel this? Is it too late? Because it just costs us more money than it's worth to print these.
Yeah.
The price point is why it's such huge negative. Well, if they printed these, honestly, if they printed these at $2 to $3 a pack, would people be complaining?
I don't know.
It would be a tougher. It would be a much easier pill to swallow. Some people might complain, but it probably wouldn't be nearly as bad. It's not like where we're at right now, where everyone's saying, "Well, I guess it's open season on proxies now." Like, people are like, "Let's just go print our own cards then," right? Wizards of the Coast has shut down people for trying to make their own expansions for the set before. for the game before, and now they're going to be like, why? You guys you're selling them for $1,000. I can do it for way less, much easier. What are you going to get for me? You're going to sue me because I'm giving these cards away?
I just wanted to say, I think, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to say, Clayton, I think you got timed out by accident. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. I think Zoo butt fumbled.
Yeah,
Clayton
as far as saying they
now.
needed to be $100, no, even at $100, people would be upset. $400, just go print proxies. At $400, you print proxies still.
Yeah, I think that just go Chinese. Like, just go Chinese, man.
We know what Habanero is having for dinner tonight.
Yeah,
he's having some Chinese food.
Trust me. Go Chinese. Get yourself some Chinese proxies. They're fantastic. Like,
you know, at $100,
and they're cheaper.
Honestly,
they're literally $1 a piece.
If they printed this the entire set for $100, the entire set, and not make it randomized, yeah, would you argue it so much? People would still be up in arms over it, saying you're tanking it, but they're not legal. They're actually the purpose of what they have behind it. Where now they're selling it for $1,000 for 4 randomized loot boxes. If anything, you're going to have the FTC coming down on their ass saying, "What are you doing?
Yeah,
you can't sell something that's expensive." They already have the issues with Arena. There's already issues with loot boxes throughout all of gaming right now that's coming into contention, which, if that continues the way it is, will affect booster packs for all TCGs.
The problem is that,
good night, Tortoise.
Like, there's the classic thing of always saying, when you buy a loot box, and this is what makes them distinctively different from gambling. When you gamble, you are paying money for the chance of receiving nothing. When you buy a loot box, you are always guaranteed to receive something in return. It may not be valuable, but you are always guaranteed to receive something in return.
In all video games, in their loot box EULA, they say you do not own the item.
Well, sure, but then that would be a bigger argument towards the favor of Magic the Gathering, which is you own your cards.
The other thing for Magic the Gathering, why it is age 13 and up, is because 13 years old is the easiest legal loophole for them to say it's not gambling. Remember back in the time of pinball machines. Pinball machines used to be regulated as if they were gambling. You used to have to be 18 years or older to play a pinball machine.
Well, but the thing is that when you put your money in a pinball machine, your money is gone. Yep. You're paying for an experience. You're not receiving something upon return. When you gamble,
when they first came out, they came under those laws, and those laws have been written through the course of history. That obviously was dropped for pinball machines because people sat there and went, no. Yes, you're playing for a free game. You're not paying to get something more out of it. You're actually getting more of an experience throwing your quarter into the damn thing, right?
Yeah,
but
you're paying for entertainment.
And
they don't need to return your money.
Pinball used to have payouts, and I believe that's part of it too. But then they got rid of it, and now it's just a free game. But when it comes to cards and loot boxes, they're very much similar in that sense. And with the stuff that's been going on, there's places around the world where things are banned. I believe recently, one of the recent printings of stuff for Magic the Gathering was not going to a certain place because of the loot box laws were changed.
I just wanted to say something real quick.
Yeah.
Thoth, when you buy a booster pack of Magic, you are purchasing a product. You are paying money to receive a physical item in return. When you gamble, you are not purchasing a product. You are purchasing an experience that may or may not return your money or some form of money back.
Now,
so even if you purchase a booster pack and the booster pack is worth no money upon returning it. So like if I bought a booster pack and it's full of jank and I sell it and I don't get any money back for it, I still purchased a product. I purchased a physical item, and I can choose to take that physical item and play with it or utilize it for something. It's not it's not an experience where I'm paying and then receiving nothing upon return.
Yeah.
So it's I've gained a physical item by paying money for it.
Okay, I'm just going to address a couple things in chat here. So Clayton, blame apparently Xerox's cat timed you out on Habenero stream.
Yeah, sorry about that, Clay.
And Bo is saying Wizards of the Coast basically put my LGS out of business for selling proxy stickers of made-up cards, not real cards. To our online customers, they were avidly against proxies 15 years ago. Then they do this. Yeah. Like, one of the things that I was handed these proxies to destroy. I was handed these cards to destroy. One, they're proxies, and I don't know the means that they came into effect. And I've always come to the fact of, if I have a proxy, I'll use it, but I won't do anything with it. If I do anything with it, it would be to destroy them. That's it. Because they are a proxy, they are not a legitimate card. Now, Mark Rosewater, I think it was 2 days ago, said in regards to Infinity that you should use cards no matter what they're printed in. On top of all of this, they said you shouldn't look at the cards as being an acorn or a proxy card. You should just use the cards. And then 2 days later, this comes out.
Well, yeah, because they're targeting casual players. Yeah. Like, we know what this is, Cinder. Like, we know, they're targeting kitchen table players because that's their market. They act like that's not their market, but because they don't want to be, they know what's going to attract kitchen table players.
Oh, that's fair.
Kitchen table players want to play with power. It's just
they should have sold the entire thing for $1,000. There wouldn't be as nearly as much outrage, and there wouldn't be as nearly investor outrage over this.
Are you talking about like a living card set, like the original collectors?
Yeah. They should should have done was package this into a board game and said, "This is our new board game. It's called Magic the Gathering, the board game, and it comes with all of these cards in it." That's what they should have done.
Yeah. So in other words, like the original collectors, you think it would have been...
No.
The thing is, though, is they wouldn't listen. They would not have made as much money, Cinder.
Forget it. Make it a Monopoly board. Make it a Monopoly board. Make the Monopoly board have a stack of these cards that you can randomly put down as the properties for Monopoly, and sell the Monopoly game as these cards.
But that's just like what the Duel Masters Black Lotus. But that's not a Magic card. That's the whole point. The whole point is they wanted to reprint the reserve list as Magic cards. They're rounded. Because otherwise they would have just reprinted Power 9 as Duel Masters. Yeah. Who gives a shit?
Coming soon, 300 booster packs. Yep. All cards 1,000. Still too much. Yeah, XL. It is. It's still too much. People would sit there, the biggest argument is the fact that there's proxies or counterfeits out there on the market that you can turn around and buy for $33 to $50 for 50 of them, right?
Like I said, my whole situation was 50 for 50. I bought 50 cards, $1 a piece. They're great. I don't regret it at all.
Oh, and Cinder, I have already confirmed these are going to be artist proofs too. What are you talking about, as fair? Half the artists are dead and their estates are saying no to these being reprinted.
Well, Hoover
right
is what
now.
We know for sure.
I believe there's others that will be stepping forward.
Yeah.
Listen, I got a one-of-a-kind Black Lotus in my hand right now. It's a foil. Do you
love how you picked the foil card.
I will sell you this foil Black Lotus for $1,000 right now.
Do I have any takers? I do have a Chinese Black Lotus in my cube.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know.
Hell, I got a laminated counterfeit here. I'll sell you that for $1,000.
Sure, man. Why
Sit in a
not?
microwave
Then I could
and
buy
call it an altar. Altars.
sell,
After 2 seconds, you'll get the coolest pattern.
you
Yeah,
could
they'll spider web.
sell that Black Lotus for $1,000 and then proceed to buy 1,000 more Black Lotuses. It's just this like infinite gain, bro. You're capitalist.
Stand play. Des
Capitalism
made a video
there at
on
its
it.
prime. Capitalism at its prime, bro.
It's legit got the official Wizards Pringle. Yep, it's got the kickflip ramp on it.
Guys all talking about Monopoly, MTG Monopoly. God, I couldn't even imagine. Doesn't need any help, trust me. Listen, Monopoly is miserable in its own right. You don't need to bring magic in it to upgrade the misery any more than it already is.
Well, we know the Monopoly guy is going to be on a Magic card soon.
God, I hope so. I hope they have like a get out of free jail card for
It's
Magic.
going to be on the Greed card.
That's what I want.
It's going to be Greed, and it'll just be the Monopoly guide.
I just remembered something. Hold on, I'm going to grab something real quick. I'm gonna grab something real quick.
I made Habanero get out of his seat. The Pringles secret layer. Yep.
I haven't thought about this in a while.
Des is all nuke. Well, yeah, you might as well. Like this is The community sucks, but this set united the entire community. Yeah, the entire community is up in arms over this. Doesn't matter which side of the coin on this. The only person that cares about this
until just now forgot that I even had this. Hold on. Okay, I have a very special magic card here. Can you guess what this card is? Can you guess what this magic card is? It's very special. It's so special. It's in a hard case. It's got a plastic wrapping around it. It's very special to me. Can you guess what this magic card is?
Is it an Elder Dragon?
No. You ready? Are you ready for the big reveal?
Is it a queen?
No.
Oh.
You ready? Do you want to guess anymore?
Does
very
it make
special.
Toast? Does it make toast?
It's very special. This is a very unique and special one-of-a-kind magic card. Okay? You ready?
It's a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Get-out-of-jail-free card. Look at the price tag on it. Can you see the price tag?
No.
It's kind of hard to see. It says $30.
Nice.
$30 get out of jail free.
Nice.
There you go. There you go, guys.
See, Monopoly magic already exists.
There you go.
It's already funny money, right? Christ.
So there you go, man. Monopoly and magic.
Does the Monopoly guy peel off to show something else off, like a stripper pole?
It should be. Dude, I would love to see the Monopoly man on a stripper pole on a magic card. That would be hot. Put him in like a mankini.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen Zardoz? Have you ever seen Zardoz?
No.
With oh god, what is his name? Why is his name suddenly slipped my mind? Sean Connery. Sean Connery in Zardoz in the mankini one piece.
Oh god. Yeah,
yes.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Oh god.
Oh yeah. You know what? I will promise you this. If you have never seen Zardoz with Sean Connery in the One Piece mankini, you have to see it at least once.
Oh boy.
Go and do it. Put that on a magic card, okay? And then you know what? Then we'll talk about paying $1,000 for a single magic card. Okay?
One is Sean Connery's first movies. Thoth is like, we want Jace in Monopoly. You know, it's out there. You can play with Jace all over the money. They put him on silver coins. Imagine Jace's face all over your Monopoly money.
Jace the femboy. The absolute.
Wait, I figured it out. Wizards are shrinking out the middle class. Yeah, pretty much. So tomorrow night, I'm going to try and get this topic on our weekly topic. I have a crap ton to say about this. Oh, boy.
Put him in a mankini like Borat. There you go.
Yeah.
I can dig it. Put Jason in a mankini.
Oh,
Have him run from the floating heads in Zardoz. It would be great.
Oh, Longhair says we need a true bearscape.
That sounds hot. I can get
Habanero, take
down
your
with
shirt
that.
off.
I get down with that.
You got to take your shirt off for that, though, Habanero. Oh, Christ! Part of the whole thing, they've taken out Crusade because it was deemed racist. Out of this collector's edition, they took out Earthbind because you can't have sexy fairies tied down by vines. They taken out Weakness.
Yeah, because of the satanic symbolism.
Is that what is it? Demonic Attorney, which I believe is wasn't that an anti-card originally?
It's what?
Was that an anti-card originally, or was it just because?
It was anti.
Yeah.
It
okay.
was anti.
And then there was two others that they took out. I have the article still pulled up here.
All garbage. It's all garbage.
Contract from Below they took out also, and Dark Pack they took out.
Contract from Below is so. I have a legitimate copy of Contract from Below from Unlimited, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so they took all of those out of the set. They didn't get a reprint in this due to multiple questionable things, apparently.
Yeah.
Is another anti-card? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all just a big mess. Like I said, I really do think the direction is I think they're trying to bail out. I really don't see it any other way.
You think they're trying to bail out? I know rumors have been floating for a long time that Hasbro's been shopping around. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Honestly, they can't just drop Magic the Gathering. It's the only thing making money for Hasbro right now, and apparently, it's not even doing that very well. So,
yeah, I mean, the corporate espionage. It's that's pretty wild, but I think that's too far.
Oh yeah, it's way too far. I'll admit that's way too far. But
yeah,
I can throw it out there.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean it's definitely a theory, and maybe I'm wrong and you're right. I don't know. It just really feels like what I was saying before, which is
I just really find it's also odd that this is the year that Disney comes out with their own TCG.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why wasn't it 5 years ago? Why wasn't it 10 years ago? Why is it now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Thoth says that it's self-sabotage and self-cannibalism.
Yep.
Which I mean, that's easily part of what I was saying before, which is if you realize that your ship is sinking 5 years in the future, it's better to self-cannibalize as soon as possible. Eat yourself alive for as much cash as you can.
I think Magic is making Hasbro a lot of money, just not enough money. What are you talking about? They sold $1 billion last year.
Yeah.
They were the majority of Hasbro's sales last year. Hasbro is what, a $7 billion company right now?
I have no idea.
I believe that's what it is. I believe that's what it is.
I mean, you could probably, a quick Google search will probably tell you.
When it comes down to it, I've always thought, who could buy Hasbro? And Disney is the number one that comes to mind.
Hasbro's net worth is $9.3 billion.
Is it 9 now?
Mm-hmm. That's what it says. $9.3 billion. As last estimated at September 30th, 2022. That's the most recent estimation for their net worth. $9.3 billion, September 30th. So there you go. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I really think that they're concerned. I think they looked into the future. It's because they have the benefit of seeing their own products 5 years in the future, because that's how they plan everything out. And I think they kind of looked at it and they're like, this looks really bad.
They've had a messed up year also, because Warhammer and Infinity were supposed to come out in the summer, and they got delayed 3 months.
Yeah.
Right? That's why right now it feels like everything's been pushed down upon everybody over the spoiler season right now, because spoilers haven't stopped. The spoilers are still going, right? On top of this Magic 30, they announced another 20 secret layers.
Yeah.
A second rendition of of what is it? The movie style cards, and then a second
You
rendition of
you
the
think
metal
that
style
wallet
cards.
you think that wallet fatigue is killing them right now.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah.
You think
Wallet
that
fatigue
you think
is
that
huge.
they are looking at the symptoms of wallet fatigue, and you think that this is them trying to bail out of wallet
Yeah.
fatigue.
Well, look at the last secret layer that they sent to all the stores. They can't offload them because the thing is worthless.
Right.
I like
Right.
the secret layer that was sent out to the stores because it's the flip lands, but they charge too much for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? From the vault, as much as I like the idea of the product was so poor for everyone out there that wanted to play the game casually or collect anything to do with the game casually. You had to sit there and drop $200 to $300 on a thing from the vault. Wizards of the Coast was selling it to the stores for like $20.
Mm-hmm.
And the stores were inflating the price by 5-10 fold. And everyone's like, oh, the store's got to make money. And this is the one product that they make money on. It's like, why should they have to rely on one product to make the money? And they sit there and they say, well, the secondary value of this is this price.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we're going to have to wait to see where the secondary value drops on these things. But I don't think it's going to go over well because a lot of people are looking at them going, I can just get proxies and they're more legitimate than these things will ever be for a fraction of the price.
The thing is, though, is that this is obviously going to end up being artificial scarcity, right? It's got a low print run. Not a lot of people are very excited about it. So right off the bat, it's player base and
we already know there's
buy rate is going to be low.
We already know there's 10,000 times 4 booster packs that are going to be in the market.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's not a lot, though. That's really, I mean, across the entire world,
the starting
country.
Point. That's the starting point. Most secret layers sell at 20,000 plus.
Yes.
20,000 units plus.
Yeah.
Right? And most secret layers have just maintained their value. They don't go up very much. They've gone up or down like 5 to 10% over the time. Right. So,
well, I mean, it's being advertised as a collector's item. So I mean,
Asfera here is saying, so what I've heard, stores are only getting 10% of the run, and the rest will be sold to Wizards of the Coast direct. 10% of the run is 10,000 copies of the 10,000 times 4 booster packs is what it is. If that's the case. And if that's only 10% of the run, that means there is 100,000 booster packs of this stuff out there on the market.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that number, it was from Desolator's video, but it was also in the article. They are sending out to every LGS, every WPN LGS, one copy, one thing of this for their store. Premium stores are getting 3. And that's where it's like, well, there's 6,000 to 7,000 LGSs. So that's where you can easily count up. There's 10,000 of these out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, so only a fraction of them are going to stores and then the rest is going to be sold directly from Wizards. Is that what I'm understanding here? Yeah. So I still think that this product is going to succeed. I really do.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, it's that we're not going to see the damaging effects of it until, a couple of years or so. And by then, like,
it's going to be hard to say where this lands, but the investor confidence in the product is gone. 8%, and losing 8% of your investors right off the bat, that's not confidence. That's
of course the investors don't have any faith in the product because they're literally tanking the entire company by doing this.
Yeah.
Obviously there's no faith in it.
No.
It's literally we're there, it's the baby in the bathwater here.
Yeah.
They're literally sacrificing everything to put out this product. And that's why the investors are like, this is not a good sign.
Here's the thing. Maybe they go in there. Here's another conspiracy for you. Maybe they went in there and out of 1% of the product, the backing of them are actually foiled in gold lace.
You know, Spunky, who was in here earlier, I think he's gone by now, but Spunky was saying that too. He said they better put like goddamn golden leaves inside their booster packs if they're charging
make that gold border
$1,000.
24 karat, and you've got a product there,
dude. The gold border of like collector's edition, they do gold borders for this, but it's actual gold.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Oh my god, I'd love that.
Right there would sell $1,000 packs straight through and through if they were to do something like that.
There you go. I could see it. I'm down. I'm down to clown with that. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
Well,
green scale's like, with that price, you might as well make them legal, sanctioned legal.
Yeah, but then they can't do the whole song and dance about the reservation list.
The reservation
like the
list
reserve
now.
list.
The reserve list.
Yeah. They can't do their song and dance. Their whole song and dance is, oh, these are technically not sanctioned legal. Look at me dance. Ooh,
well, there's a lot of reasons.
I can dance around the lines of what's sanctioned, and therefore it's not reserve list, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, technically, like, they could just make them legal, but, like, then they can't do their whole song and dance.
Yeah.
So, like, they want to do that song and dance, and that's why they're doing it the way they do, even though they know that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well, the reserve list, watching Edwin and open boosters and stuff like that, they have talked about the reserve list. And if they open up the floodgates and start printing the reserve list and the value of it tanks, that's the big thing. If the value of the cards tank, then everyone that holds these cards can claim damages because they opened up the floodgates, and that's where the problem is. If at some point the floodgates open and the value doesn't tank, then the reserve list is gone.
Well, that's why, like I said, like, it makes sense to me. Like, I know I keep bringing it up over and over again. I keep saying it. I'm, saying it over and over again. They don't care because they're bailing. They're bailing out the boat. They're getting the hell out, so they don't care. They don't care if it doesn't succeed or if it, has repercussions or whatever. So they don't give a shit, like, because they're trying to get the hell out before it gets really bad. So that's my theory. I literally think Magic, like, maybe not the game itself, but my opinion is that the company's production of Magic the Gathering will be dead within 5 years or less because of this.
If they continue on the track they're on, I'm 100% agreeing with you. If they can right the ship, then it's going to fix itself.
Well, I told you
right
personally,
now they're repeating the past by printing out this 30 edition.
Well, I told you that before this product was announced, I legitimately could have believed they could have gone on for another 10 or 20 years. I really do think that if this product was not a thing, like if Magic 30 was not a thing, they could have gone on for at least another decade or two.
Oh yeah, easily.
The existence of this product says to me that whatever knowledge that Wizards of the Coast has about the future of the company is going to be dead within 5 years or less, and they got to get the hell out. Because that's what this product says to me. It says to me that they see something that we don't see as consumers. And all they know is that they have to get the hell out as fast as possible. So because this product exists, that means that whatever Magic has in the next 5 or so years is going to be devastatingly bad, and they're trying to get the hell out. Like, that's what this says to me.
With the reprinting of Modern Masters and the continuation of Modern Masters always being reprinted, I don't know why no one has really looked at it and went, this is like Chronicles all over again. When they made Chronicles and reprinted everything, and when they originally had like the MTG core sets, they were originally supposed to be 50% reprints, 50% new cards. Now that idea has moved into like Modern Horizons or the Master sets. Now it's just all reprints. And originally they said, Wizards was always like, oh, we'll only ever do 50% reprints in a core set or in these types of sets. And they just reprint them now to oblivion. Everyone just eats it up, and they keep charging more money, and Wizards are like, okay, well, if that's what you guys want, we'll keep doing it that way. Even though there's a few people out there that sit there and they raise their voice and say, hey, this is what you guys said back in the day and why you weren't doing it. And the whole reason the reserve list exists was because you reprinted them all in Chronicles. Where's the confidence in the product? And now we're bubbling up to the point where it's continuing, and they reprint Liliana of the Veil in a standard set, and no one sits there and goes, oh, cool, Lily's in the set, right? The Lily that was printed in the set is garbage because of the art.
I mean, that's debatable, but that doesn't actually have an effect on the card.
That's the market has said.
People don't want the new Lily just because of the new art. I mean,
she sells for $30 right now, and the old art sells for like $70.
All right. Well, I mean, the card is still a playable piece that does exactly the same thing. So, I mean, I'm sure that people that really want a Lily are probably just fine, and they don't give a shit.
I'm waiting for the announcement for Brothers War with the Tron lands.
I mean, I don't think Tron lands are that expensive, are they? I mean, maybe if you're trying to get them in their original prints, but
it would bring Tron back to standard.
Yes,
that's more the big deal. If they bring Tron back to standard at this point, it could right the ship for standard.
Nobody gives a shit about standard, man. Come on.
What are you talking about? Standard is the opening point of Magic the Gathering. If people don't get into standard, the
opening point of Magic is kitchen table.
Standard is a good introduction to it.
How did you learn how to play Magic, Cinder?
How did I learn to play Magic?
Did you start learning from Standard, or did you start learning by sitting across from your friend who taught you how to play the game?
I learned in Type 1.5.
You literally taught yourself
I learned in school. But we use the rules of 1.5. We use the rules. The current format rules is what we used to learn the game, because there was some of us that had like Power 9s, and we said, no, we don't want to play with those because we're starting out here.
I would argue that you are part of a minority.
Probably.
I've would argue
been playing for how long?
I would argue that the majority of people that get into Magic learn from kitchen table. I don't think that the majority of people who get into Magic are starting with standard. Because I sure as hell did.
We did both. Like, we played with the idea of the rules of like Type 1.5, Type 2, and stuff like that. But we only played with the cards we had, which would, in essence, be kitchen table. Because you only have so many cards at that point.
Because rotation. Like, if you're just playing with what you have, you can't always keep up with rotation.
No,
especially if you're a teenager at high school. Like, it's pretty difficult to keep up with rotation.
Players used to be brought into the game via standard from Asphera, and Asphera used to run a store.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
if standard's not there as your opening place for you to lay down the opening rules, so everyone's on a decent playing field. Now you have kitchen table. Majority of people that go to play kitchen table, they're going to look at cards and not have a clue on what to do with them in the kitchen table from the commander side of things. Like, I have starter decks, and I take those starter decks if I'm teaching someone. I use the starter decks that I have when I'm teaching someone to play the game. And those starter decks at one point were standard legal. And that was the idea. And that's why I haven't disassembled them and why I've kept them as starter decks.
It's just that, like, it's the classic thing is that the majority of people who are invested in Magic or playing Magic, like, it's we've talked about it before, which is the loud minority versus silent majority.
Yeah.
And this is like a situation where I would say the player base of, like, playing standard versus playing casually is part of this kind of situation where you know about the people who play standard because they're always in the store playing the game, playing standard, and they're all, doing their thing. But the thing is that the majority of people who are buying cards and, like, doing their thing, they're not playing standard.
Excel saying block format
they're playing with
standard,
whatever they can get the hell.
Thoth is saying standard. Like,
But you guys are doing a sample size based on your personal observations. What about all the multiple thousands of people that you've never seen before ever in your entire lives because they're at home playing with their brothers, their sisters, their family, their friends personally,
but they've got to learn
playing
from someone,
a kitchen table game.
Majority of those people learn in a store at some point or another now.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they're playing standard.
No, it doesn't mean they continue to play standard.
I played kitchen table for years with a whole bunch of other people that played kitchen table and never played standard. Like, I really do think that the overall amount of people who are playing standard are legitimately a minority. I really, really do think that. Because you literally can't like quantify, you can't record the number of people. There's probably, can you tell me right now that there is a sanctioned standard tournament playing right this second? Like, there probably is somewhere in the world. But the thing is that whatever number of people there are doing that, you can't even quantify the number of people who are all across the globe playing the game casually in their house right now with their friends or family. It's probably way more than any store that is playing the game standard.
It's hard to just you put it on a Friday, Saturday night, you'd probably see more people playing standard
on a Friday or Saturday night. Yeah. But the thing is that every day is a technical, like every single day, people can be playing the game
right
casually.
Right now, everyone's playing on Arena.
Right? I don't believe you. Right? Nobody plays Arena. Come on,
more
man.
Playing on Arena or MTGO, which would be format based.
Nobody plays Arena. Come on, man. Who are you kidding right now? Nobody plays Arena. Get out of here.
Hey, do you believe there's 40 million Magic the Gathering players?
Yeah, I do. And the majority of them probably don't play standard.
And the majority of them, only 10% maybe use social media.
That's what I'm talking about. That's literally what I'm talking about. Loud minority versus silent majority. The majority of them are never stepping on to social media, and the
Coding
majority
Monkey,
of them are
we used to play
playing
Magic over the phone. David's still playing Arena. Still connected a lot to the Magic community across the US. It's same. No one shows up to play standard anymore, period. Hey, no, I'm not saying anyone's showing up now, but I'm saying majority of the players that were introduced to the game were in some sort of structured play. And at the time, that was standard. Now they've ruined standard for the last 4 years straight. Right? You go back to like Oath of the Gatewatch when they started banning cards left, right, and center. That's when standard eroded and it no longer became standard. It's now everyone's moved on from that. Everyone doesn't care about the format system anymore. There's still people that sit there and play Modern. There's some that play Pioneer. Pioneer I don't think is as big as a format as it could be. But majority of people now play Commander or Cube.
I think the majority of people just want to play what's fun.
Yes.
Like, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, like...
And it just so happens that the majority of fun ways to play Magic are unsanctioned forms of play.
Like, for here where I'm at, I'm in a large city. I've tried going out and playing with people, making friends with people, and majority of the people are playing with uber powered up decks. Like, I walked into my LGS, I brought in my Commander deck. I sat it down, I played with 3 other guys. The game was over on round 3.
That sounds really unfun. Just don't, whoever won on round 3, don't play with that guy anymore. Sounds like an asshole.
I looked at him and said, we have an hour to kill, and you just did this in 5 minutes.
Yeah, just like, be like, why? Hey, that was... in all honesty, I would be like, hey, I hope you enjoyed that. Leave. You're not allowed to play with us anymore.
Ever since then, I just don't sit down and play in a store. I don't play Commander in the store because of that.
I'm gonna tell you something, a true story, and if Spunky is still in here, he'll know this story. But this is true. Back in the day when I used to play casual Magic with my friends, we used to have this one friend who loved playing a deck that that played cards that literally said, if you do this thing, you win the game. Like, just, that's
alternate win cons.
And,
alternate win cons.
Yeah, basically. And it literally said, like, you win the game. Yep. So, like, what would happen is he would always play with this deck. And it would drive me and my friends insane because he would always be able to win the entire game before we really got any of our other stuff going. So what we started doing in response was he'd be like, okay, like I got all this stuff, I win the game. And we're like, okay, pack up your cards and go over there. And he's like, I win, aren't we all shuffling up? And we're like, no, we're going to continue playing. You won the game, you're done. You can go. We're going to keep playing the game that we've built here.
Yeah.
So feel free to just leave.
Yeah.
Like, you can go. And he's like, that's not how this works. I want to play again. It's like, no, you made the choice to, like,
That's awesome.
end the game. You made the choice to end your game early. We still have a game to play. You ended your game early by getting the satisfaction of winning early. You're out of here. Go sit down. We will continue playing without you. Hope you enjoyed that. You get to go over there and sit for an hour or two while we continue enjoying the actual game that we're trying to play.
You bust out a case of beer, a few friends, and the decks, and you sit there and you play for hours, and that's one game. That's how it should be. That's how EDH is supposed to be played. I sit down in a store and sit there for 5 minutes and look at the guy and go, that was fun. Thanks. I still have an hour to kill before we draft. Like, are you kidding me? This was supposed to take at least a half an hour or 45 minutes.
That's why you should take. That's why you got to take the route that I took, which is like you say to the guy, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm glad that you won. You may now leave the game. We're going to continue playing. Have fun by yourself for an hour. Like, that's how you handle that situation. Yeah. You say, okay, well, you enjoyed your thing. We're done with you. We're going to continue playing. With my friends, it got to the point where I was so lagging on cards. I couldn't keep up to their decks. I couldn't. They were building like powerful decks at the point, and I literally was just building with like 3 stacks of cards. I got a little bit of money one day, and I was like, I'm going to go build myself an elf deck. And I went out there and I built the cards to build an elf deck. Mm-hmm. Well, I still had a Gnomic Tutor at the time, a Regrowth, a Time Warp, and Voice of the Woods was one of the elves that I picked. And I was able to figure out a way to loop all the cards. I believe Gaia's Blessing was in that loop too. I was able to figure out how to loop all the cards to the point that I had unlimited turns. So you became the guy that's not fun to play with, basically.
Yeah. I dismantled that deck about the 3rd time that we were playing.
Yeah. I had a deck a long time ago called the Nerd Killer. Like, well, the whole point of it was I used to go to a comic book store, and we had a guy who would like challenge me and my friends, and he would like always win on the first couple of turns all the time. And we got so frustrated that I built a deck that I called the Nerd Killer. And the whole point of the deck is it literally is designed to prevent. It guarantees a win by turn 3 and prevents anybody from winning before you win by turn 3. So like if anybody tries to like run a combo to win before I get the chance to win, it prevents them from doing it. And then it forces me to win by turn 3. And I literally built that just to stop that asshole from doing that to us. So it was Clayton here saying it was Prose Bloom. It was a Prose Bloom style deck.
Yeah. Clayton here saying my commander deck is a turn 2, turn 3 deck as well. But trust and believe, I got my ass kicked for months till I came up with that turn 2 win condition. So far I'm concerned, fuck them. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is when you have stuff like that, you don't play that with your friends. Like, you go with the mentality of, this is my nerd killer. If I go into a comic book store and I meet some asshole who wants to, like, fight me and, like, win on the first turn or the first few turns, that's when you pull out the nerd killer. You don't pull out the nerd killer on your friends when you're having a good time, because otherwise you become the nerd and somebody else becomes the nerd killer to put you in your place.
It's like this deck I have is literally a group hug deck. The only thing I'm really missing for it is actually a Mana Flare and a Howling Mine. Mm. But the whole idea is for everyone to draw cards and for everyone to get extra mana.
Nice.
Right? That's the whole point of it. But then I make you pay for each card at some point, and I get them for free. And then I get to the point where I will out-ramp everyone else, so I can just start putting down big-ass bombs. That's all it is, right? But it's a simple deck and gets easily overrun very quickly.
So all of my decks, all of my commander decks have the ability to play properly. Like, I mean, if you're playing, like, none of them fall behind. Like, pretty much all of them have a form of ramping up and building themselves into something without any issues, and they can defend themselves just fine. But none of my commander decks run like early bullshit combos.
Yeah.
Not a single one of them. Because that's not fun.
No.
That's not the point. Like, the point is to literally the point of me whipping out a commander deck is to sit down, crack open a beer, light up a joint, shoot the shit, and then throw some cards on the table.
That's exactly it.
The point isn't to win in 2 turns because that's bullshit and that's not fun. The point is to have a fun night with the bros.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's to have fun with the people you're playing with, not to sit there and just kick ass.
Yeah.
Like, you want to kick ass, go to a tournament. Go to competitive play.
And a lot of the time, like the thing that's really funny too is a lot of the time the people who like run combos like that, they can't play them at tournaments anyways. Like, because they're either too slow or they're not legal or something.
Hey, long hair, one night, EDH, bring it, Cinder. Long hair, I will have to do that. You guys just do it so late. I got to figure out a way to do that and be able to wake up the next day. Anyway, talking about how late it is, thank you, long hair, for the $2.
We probably need to wrap up.
Yeah, it's time to wrap up. It's 10 to midnight here. I got a little one that gets up at 7. Hey, we saw a squirrel, and why is it not on screen? Why did that not go on screen? I'm not fixing it. It's probably because of all the overlays I've put there. Anyway, long hair, you saw a squirrel. Thanks. Anyway, thank you, Habanero. It's been a great night to talk to you. It's been an amazing night. Everyone that sat there, go subscribe to Habanero. If you haven't done it already, if you're not already subscribed to him, go subscribe to this boy. I'm going to put his stream in the chat. Go rate it right now if you want.
I'm probably going to wrap up at the exact same time that you do.
I know most of everyone here, I think it bounces between both their streams anyway. So you guys, thank you so much for listening to us bullshit and talk about the absolute trash fire that's come out of this company. One day maybe we can sit there and have a normal conversation, how things are normal in the state of Magic, how things aren't constantly being banned or constantly something wrong with the game. Maybe we'll get cardstock that's not looking like I can kickflip off with a skateboard. Maybe one day we'll have a normal day.
No.
Anyway, guys. Have a good night.
No.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.